Good morning. I hope that you have good health today. I hope that you have a clear vision for what you want to accomplish and that you overcome any obstacles in front of you. Over the years, it seems like as a society, we've had a more negative outlook of the future. When it comes down to people who have hope or people that are hopeful for the future, it feels like it's easier to fall into negative cycles than to believe in the positive ones. Like, for example, with social media, right? I would wager to say that if you asked a lot of people, they're gonna sit here and tell you that social media will most likely be used for bad than for good. When you look at how the media works, how attentions work, and how human nature is, you can see that people are very drawn towards negativity and bad news. And I think over time, because we get so much of that put in front of our faces, right, we kind of tend to believe the negativity that's portrayed in the media. It seems like nowadays, men and women have this kind of war against each other, where both sides don't seem to want to see eye to eye with how the other side operates. Because you'll look at one side and the guys are saying that the women are the problem, and you'll look at the other side and you'll see that the women are saying that men are the problem. So they'll believe that because they've seen enough content online of one group acting a certain way, that is the truth for all groups on the internet, or all groups in reality. And that's just not the case, right? You'll have guys that sit at home, don't really go out much, being very upset and incredibly bitter because they can't seem to pull the kind of women that they want. But the fact of the matter is they're not trying. You get what I'm saying? Like, they'll sit at home, create a narrative that, oh, all people or all women are bad, right? But they themselves have never, or not never, but they themselves don't go out and interact with women. And that's just unhealthy because they've created their entire worldview based on the internet. If you see enough negativity, and if you see enough bad press, and if you see enough just badness in the world, right, without even experiencing it, you're gonna create a story in your head of how reality is, even though your personal experiences don't actually reflect what you're seeing on the internet. I'm encouraging you right now to look at your real life experiences as a metric for how the world works. And to do that, you have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone and do things, right? Experience life. Do things that are new to you. Interact with people that you're unfamiliar with. Not like dangerous people, right? I mean, I guess you could interact with dangerous people. That's up to you. It'll shift your perspective on reality based on a concrete truth and not based on a fabricated message, right? That's how they get you. That's how they want you to think. They want you to think that the world is falling apart, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and say that the world is sunshine, rainbows, and daisies, right? There's a lot of bad things out there, and the news keeps us informed and the media keeps us informed of what is out there. There is such thing as having empathy for other people. Just because other people are miserable doesn't mean that you need to be miserable for them or on their behalf. What they're going through is unfair, right? Life isn't fair. But that doesn't mean that it has to sour your perspective on life. And you'll probably look at me and be like, well, that's a selfish way of thinking. It is in a sense, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say that that's selfless, but I will say that it's more reasonable. It's more reasonable to not carry other people's burdens if you are not directly responsible for them. You get what I'm saying? And a lot more people are losing hope and a lot of people are losing trust, right? Like me included. You'll hear me talk about a lot of how, like, the world and we live in like a system, and you know, the higher ups, the elites want to keep us all under control. I'll say this, bro. I definitely do believe that there's a lot of information that we are being withheld from, right? The elites know how to run the world, right? They have their finger on the pulse, right? But I will say that just because we are in an environment where we're basically restricted in a lot of ways, it doesn't mean that we have to give up hope, and it doesn't mean that we have to start looking at negativity as a source of comfort. So keep your head up. If it's at the expense of your own self-worth and happiness and like comfortability within yourself and how you maneuver in the world, maybe it's not your burden to carry. You get what I mean? You don't always have to try to save the Hidden Leaf Village, bro. Let Naruto do that. All right, focus on yourself. But either way, bro, that's the message. Watch this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow.